All right. So the first thing is, I don't think there would have been a documentary at all if Darren didn't know me and we weren't friends. I don't think he would have done it. Um, I'm quite sure of that. And then because he knew he could trust me, he also knew I made empowering films and wasn't just going to make a salacious, reality TV show that was just preying upon him like Tiger King kind of stuff, right?
Hell yeah.
And as it
Yeah.
was, I pushed pretty far and probably a lot deeper into the internal that he might have wanted to. All right, he likes the comics and the business side, and I like the internal, and that's my prerogative as a filmmaker. Now, on when we, you know, made that mistake with the Superman one, right? When we can talk about it. I mean, I don't know if it's a anyway. There's a big thing
Spoiler.
that happened.
Spoiler.
Yeah, spoiler
Yeah, there
alert.
you
The
go. There's
crew
a
does
thing that
something.
happens.
The thing that happened with the Superman one, the crew,
Yeah.
and yeah, if at that moment he didn't know me, for sure it would end it because it almost ended at that moment anyway. And it almost
Oh
the
wow.
film almost ended two or three other times. And that's how we begin the series, is him wanting to end the documentary when there's a lot of press coming out about him and he makes a sale and he's just feeling really kind of like, why am I putting myself out there? Uh, so
Hmm.
so for sure, if we weren't friends, yeah, it would have been it. And then as a filmmaker, I I'm not worried about the fourth wall. Like, I'm no matter what we're impacting, we try not to in many senses. But I've
Right.
been in a lot of documentaries where the crew is part of an adventure. We're in the Himalayas on motorcycles, or we're in Kazakhstan in a nuclear test site. Like, we're in it. And I like integrating us as filmmakers into the storyline. Um, and so I didn't plan on integrating us that much, right, into the storyline. Like, you know,
Not that way, I
not
mean.
that way, because
Yeah.
some of the crew and everyone were just sick to their stomach, physically because of that. Myself, I was just like, well, this is crazy, but I just have to tell him because he wasn't there. Darren wasn't there when it happened, so I had to kind of build up the strength to, as soon as he walks in, I got to tell this guy, and that's that. No messing about. And he never even looked at the book after that. He just left, to his credit. But so I don't mind. I don't mind that at all. I think it makes it more interesting. I think it's more honest because we are there. And in episode one, it's
Mm.
just me alone with mom, Darren, and his brother in the house. And I'm like, you're here, you're hearing me ask questions. I'm there. I'm
Hmm.
prompting it all. And that doesn't happen like that unless I'm there. It's not like you just sit and observe and they're going to talk to each other. That doesn't happen.
Right.
So to me, it's more honest to recognize that you are there, and can make for more interesting conversation. That's why I say early on, like, I'm not a comic book guy, and that way I'm coming at it from an angle of, how did it get this way? Why do we value these things so much? Is there a mental health issue with collecting? Is part of it a sickness, as Chris Vogler says, but he says it's a sickness that has a great potential for healing. And I love that. He's like, it's mental health. It's a mental sickness, but it has potential for healing. And that's why it's so beautiful, because you can see kind of the hole that you might have had in your childhood or with your father and heal it. And I think that's really cool to, like, recognize a shadow and also recognize the potential of the shadow and not beat around the bush. And that only happens if, you know, honestly, the filmmaker is approaching it a certain way. Like, why would I go interview Chris Vogler? Well, because I want him to talk about some things like this. So we're there. That's what I
Yeah.
say. We're there, and you can't avoid that. And so I'm not like a
Yeah.
reporter in a war just trying to observe things.